So this is tutorial 4 on the introduction to Inventor and making your SumoBot wheel. So I've got my wheel here and I'm just going to look at this and say, you want to know something? I really don't like where this indent is. I'd like it out a bit farther. So what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to go Visual Style and I'm just going to go Wireframe and I'm going to go to the right, and you can kind of see, you can see here that, yeah, my rim indent here for the tread is way up here and this indent is here. So I'm going to make this a bit bigger. So I know that I call this the front indent, and it's the sketch that I'm actually going to change. So I'm going to double click on the sketch, and I'm going to double click on the sketch, and I'm just going to take this number here and I'm actually just going to make it to, I don't know, let's say 1.2. Where's that put me? A little bit bigger. Let's go kind of back to the home position. It's easier just to get to the right. And oops, I can't see it from there. Let's go back to the home and let's just finish the sketch, and again let's go back to the right, and now you can see, yeah, it's a little bit bigger now. I could even go a bit bigger, so I'm just going to add a sketch once more, and I'm going to go 1.3 here. Okay, so 1.3, and then I'm going to hit finish, and there you can see, yeah, that's a little better. So I'm just going to go back to Visual Style, Shading with Edges, and click on the home. And there's my rim now. Okay, so now I'm going to start with what I want to do for this tutorial. So what I want to do now is I'm going to add spokes in here, and you got to think this out. Do I add them just down into this plane, okay, or on this surface? Do I add them to this surface, or do I add them to here? If you think about it, I'm going to want to cut personally through this surface here and this surface. So to do that, I'm actually going to draw my spokes on this surface here, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm there, I go back up to 3D model, I'm going to hit create 2D sketch, and now I'm going to actually create my spokes. So I'm going to zoom in here a bit, and so I can work, kind of like this, so I don't need the whole area, maybe right there. Okay, so I'm in the red, I'm going to draw some oblong spokes. I'm going to click circle, and I'm just going to snap it here to this line. And I'm going to click that one. Let's see, I'll put that one there for now. I'm going to put another one down here. And I don't want to go into the axle hole down there, so maybe I just want to move it. So I'm going to right mouse click, cancel, and I'm going to take this one. And I'm just going to move it up a tiny bit. Okay, I'm going to take this one because I don't want it into the top. And I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to move it to there. Okay, now I'm going to draw some lines, and I want them tangent, so I want them to touch the two circles but not cross anywhere else. So I'm going to take a line, and I'm just going to draw it out here, and we're going to do some explaining here. Okay, so I want these two to be tangent. In other words, the line touches a circle only in one place and doesn't cross. Now, all I have to do basically is come up to this constraints, and this is a new section I want to talk about now. So constraints are, kind of setting it up so that the drawings or the things touch each other, snap to each other, don't move. So the easiest one right now that I want to show you is just, the tangent one. So if I touch the tangent, watch what's going to happen. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select the circle. And then the line and the circle will be tangent to each other, and you can see that that Problem is the circle moved. Okay, so I don't want this circle to move. So if I Control Z to get back, how would if I go the other way? I took the constraint, the tangent to here, and to line. It still moves. Now what am I going to do? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the circle, and there's a lock one, and I'm going to lock it. Okay, and you can see that it goes blue, meaning it's locked, it can't move. So I think I'm going to do the same to this one down here. So I'm going to select that one, you can see they both go blue. Okay, now how do you know that they're, what constraint is on them? Well, I'll tell you what. At the very bottom here, there's this guy right here, and it's called Show All Constraints. And you can see that they're locked. Okay, this one's got no constraints on it. So now I'm going to take the tangent one, I'm going to click on this circle, and I'm going to click on the line. And you can see that they're now, okay, they're constrained. And if I just cancel out of this and I grab this line, you can see, and I try and move it, see I can move it all over the place now, right? And I don't want to lose this here, so I'm going to kind of, so I'm just going to Control Z to bring it back. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to constrain this line to this circle down here. So I'm just going to hit the tangent there and there. You can see now they're locked. Okay, I'm going to draw a separate line over on this side and cancel this, and again constrain it. And we'll talk more constraints as tutorials go on. Constrain it there, and take this one, constrain it there. Okay, so now they're all constrained, they can't move anymore. The next is I got all this extra stuff here, right? The lines continue on, so I want to trim them off. So I'm going to click trim here, okay, and I'm actually just going to take the constraints and show all of the constraints. Now you can see them all. Okay, so I'll go back to trim, and I'm going to trim this section, and you can see all I'm doing is left mouse clicking, and I'm going to trim this section, and you can see now that it trims to exactly where you want it to, and it trims across any line. And finally I'll trim the insides, and there's my spoke shape, right? So am I good? Yeah, the problem is maybe I want to modify the size of this and that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to get rid of the constraints. Okay, so if I actually right mouse click, get out of this current tool I'm in, if I go on to this, if I simply press the X, it just hides it. Okay, and you can see, you know, the different constraints here. So I'm actually going to right mouse click on top of the constraint, and I'm going to go to and hopefully find a delete. So maybe not. I got to click to it. Now right mouse click and then go delete. Okay, so that one's gone. Take this one, right mouse click on it. Sorry, left mouse click on it, then right mouse click and go delete. Okay, now I can dimension it, right? Because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to move things. So I can dimension maybe from the center here to the center here and give myself a dimension. Sure, I'll just keep that for now. And I'm going to dimension an outside circle. Oops. And I'll just put that in here so you can see it. And I'm going to dimension this one down here. Okay, those are probably all the dimensions I need. And then if I change this, right, and let me change that to, I don't know, maybe 0.3, a little bit smaller. You can see it squats, but maybe I want to move it up. So I'm going to also dimension from here to here. Okay, oops, that dimensioned it up to there. That's not where I want it. Oh, we'll take that anyways. Okay, and then I'm going to change that to 0.5. Right, oh, there we go. Okay, so that's kind of how I want my spokes. Maybe I want them a little narrower. So I'm going to take this guy, and maybe I'm going to put that one as 0.1. What happens? There we go. And then take this one, and maybe this one's 0.05. Okay, you make these numbers up. I'm just kind of, you know, making up my own personal spoke. Now the last thing I want to check is this interfering with the axle hole? So again, I can just go over to View, Visual Style, Wireframe, you know, and there, yeah, no, I'm fine. It's not affecting that, right? So if that makes sense. So I'm basically done my sketch, and across the top here you see I'm in sketch view. So there's the sketch, and I'm going to click Finish. And there's my sketch, right? Now I want to array this around, and I can just go back to View, Visual Style, Shading with Edges, and I want to array this around. There's a couple ways to do it. Okay, one is I can extrude this single spoke and then array, or two is I can go back into the sketch and array it and then extrude. So which way do I want to go? Let's array, or let's extrude the sketch first. Okay, so I'm going to click on Sketch, go back to 3D Model, extrude it. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go Cut Material. Right, I'm going to actually select the area that I want to extrude, and this time around, distance. No, I'm going to go to Next. Right, because I'm going to go all the way through to the back side. So when I click on this, what you'll see when I hold Shift key down and hold the mouse, center mouse scroll, you can see it's gone all the way through. So I'm going to take that one. Oh, my email just came in. And I'm going to select OK. There's my individual one. I'm going to go now back to my extrusion, and I'm going to hit Array. So if I just hold this right here, circular pattern. Okay. And what do I got to do? Well, first I have to array that thing, right? So there's my feature selected. Now I need to figure out the axle. So if I go my rotation, it's already selected. And I'm going to select, whoops, select that again. There's my axle, and it arrays it 360 degrees. How many spokes do I want? I don't know, I'm going to go 5. Automatically changes it, and I just click on OK because it won't let me see it until I click OK, and there's my spokes are done. Okay, and they're all kind of around. Yeah, that's looking not bad. Okay, I kind of like that. Right, so obviously you know that you can go back into these and change things, right? So if I wanted to, I can go back into this extrusion, go back into the sketch, double click the sketch, okay, and I can say, no, you want to know something? I really wanted this, you know, a little bit higher up, so I'm going to change this right here to 0.55, right? Yeah, I want it right there. Okay, and I just hit Finish Sketch, and you'll see that everything just changed, right? So you get that, right? So anytime I'm point in time, you can always go back and edit something. So last thing I want to do on this tutorial is I want to put some type of little cap right here. So I'm going to select this surface. I'm going to go back to Create 2D Sketch, zoom in. I'm going to go to Wire so I can see. So I'm going to go View, Wireframe. I can see it. I'm going to go back to the sketch up top here, go to Circle, and I'm just going to grab and make sure it goes over top of that. All right, finish my sketch. Oh no, I want to dimension it. So I'll just dimension this real quick, and I want that to be actually 0.35. Right, there we go. Go back to View, Visual Style, Shaded with Edges, and go back to my sketch and hit Finish. Okay, so there's my little cap. Now I have to obviously extrude it. Okay, and I'm not going to delete it or cut it. I'm just going to add. So I want that part there, and you can see it's sticking out. That's good enough. Okay, I don't need to go any different. There's my nub and for my cap, and finally I'm just going to fillet it. So if I click on the edge and the edge only, I can hit fillet, and it fillets it round. Again, I can change the numbers. I can add, subtract. Just do this. Yeah, maybe do it like that. Click OK. Okay, so there's kind of, there's my rim done. If I want to edit or round these edges, I can just click it, hit fillet. I can change it to whatever I want. I'm just going to click the other edges. What the heck, I'll click all these edges. Oh no, I don't want this one. Just unclick it. No, I guess I can't. So I'm going to Control Z. Oops, it gets me all the way out. Shouldn't have done that. So again, just click the edge, round it over, right? Click OK, and then I can just fillet this one here, right? Fillet it, and I'll fillet the outside one. I'll leave the inside ones. Okay, and click OK. So there's kind of my rims done. Again, I'm going to come into here and I'm going to go, what are all these parts? Okay, so that extrusion, that is obviously my spokes. Okay, and down in here, I'm going to call that my cap. Right? Just gets good, naming stuff. The fillets, I'm not going to name them. Sure, I can, I guess. I can name that cap fillet and stuff like that. But that kind of concludes, there's my rim. There's my basic introduction to using Autodesk Inventor. And on to the next part. So this completes tutorial 4.